Hello, everyone, and welcome to HBCU Highlights. My name is Andrea Evans, and I'm here tonight with my co-host, Ashley Deadweiler Jones, and we are so excited. I can feel the beat, I can hear the rhythm, I can hear Nayo Jones' fabulous voice, and we are bringing her to HBCU Highlights because she is an amazing musician and artist that we want to spotlight today for what she's doing in and out of her career as an acclaimed musician. Nayo Jones, welcome to HBCU Highlights. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
We are so excited to have you here with us tonight. And we know that when it was time for you to go to college in 1994, you probably could have gone anywhere, but you chose Spelman College, and you are our Spelman sister. Now, Nayo, why did you choose to go to Spelman College?
The easy answer is Spelman chose me. I did not plan to go to Spelman at all. And in fact, my mom kept saying, I think you should apply. I think you should apply. And I said, no, I am just not going to make it with all those girls. I just can't do it. And so she said, just apply. And so, my mom always said in our household, it was, we won't tell you where to go, but you have to go. So, wherever I wanted to go to college, they were like, fine. But she just it was a not so gentle nudge, at least apply. And so I went down to Atlanta after I got accepted. And I already had my mind set on Clark, Atlanta. I'm just going to tell y'all that the truth. The truth is, I was like, I'm going to Clark, but I'm here. I might as well, go. And so I had gone on campus at Clark, and I said, this is really pretty. I had a great time walking around and seeing everything. And this is going to sound really corny, but I got through the gates of Spelman, and it was like this euphoric thing that just came over me. And I was like, I think I'm home. And then I kind of, ventured into the first dorm I saw, and that was Manley Hall, as soon as you walked through the gates. And there was a sister in there, and she was just in like the bathroom on, I think it was the first level or something like that. And she said, can I help you? I clearly was lost. I clearly did not belong there. And she was the nicest, kindest person. And in that moment, I was like, this is where I'm going. I came home, I told my mom, and she was like, great, So that's how it all happened, really. That's just a corny story, but it's the truth. It's exactly how it happened.
Wow. So you came down to Spelman and you felt that sisterhood, that Southern.
I just felt the sisterhood. I always knew I wanted to go to a Black college, though. I was born in Chicago, and even before I knew anything about what it would be like to apply to college or go to college or anything like that, for some reason, I wanted to go to a Black college. I knew that. And then when I moved to Phoenix, I went to a predominantly white high school, and I said, oh, I'm definitely going to a Black college. I just didn't know where that would be. And so when it landed on Spelman, and I have to say, to this day, that was the best decision I've made in my entire life. Yeah.
We never, ever regret it, right? Never, ever.
The sisterhood is amazing.
Never regret it. So when you went to Spelman, you got there, and what did you decide to major in? And was it all that you expected it to be?
It was all that and some, really. Again, I'm not tooting my own horn, but when I was in high school, it was like, academics, boom, I got this. Extracurricular, boom, boom, boom. I was Miss Thing. But then you get on Spelman's campus and everybody is Miss Thing. And so I was like, whoa, I got to step on my game. And so, yes, it was all of that and some, because I say that because it was so many beautiful Black women that looked like me, women that I knew had backgrounds that could be similar to mine or different from mine. And they were excelling in so many areas in life. And they came from backgrounds that I didn't know. I'm from the South Side of Chicago. So I grew up very modestly, and then eventually things kind of rounded out. But, the little poor Black girl from the South Side of Chicago was not supposed to be at Spelman. But when I got there, it was like, oh my God, these women are not just smart, but they're inspiring. And I just carried that mood through my entire career at Spelman. I don't have many regrets other than the fact that I quit the band. I played with Morehouse my freshman year, and I quit that. And then, so that's the only regret I have during my time there. But yeah, it was everything I thought it would be and some, because I didn't know what to expect, honestly. Even being with women, I was like, oh my gosh, how am I going to handle that? And it was incredible, really. It really was. I didn't take a class at Morehouse until senior year. I avoided that as long as I could.
Well, Nayo, the Spelman sisterhood is priceless, and you basically experienced that sisterhood before you even applied to Spelman, which says a lot about Spelman women. And you're right, you get there and you're immersed around all these like-minded women who inspire you, and you inspire us. But I want to go back. So you walked through the gates of Spelman and you felt inspired. You were around all these amazing women. What exactly did you major in? And did you always know that you wanted to be a singer?
No, actually. I got to Spelman and Sister Prez, when I heard her say, it's okay if you don't know what you want to major in, I said, okay. Like, I had no idea. I knew I liked numbers. I knew I was interested in business. So I eventually landed on economics. And I think I declared it officially not until my junior year. So, but I had been taking classes because I knew I was leaning that way. So yeah, that's how that happened. And in terms of being a singer, and I know it seems odd that I ended up being a singer, but I never knew that I wanted music to be in my life as a profession. It was always in my life through my academic career, and it was very important, actually. Anytime I had a year that I was going to set my classes, I knew band was part of it. I didn't even know that it was nerdy to be in the band. I thought we were cool. But then I got to college and I was like, oh, they call us band geeks. I had no idea that that was not a cool thing to be. But I remember I would, and I played classical flute in high school. And so my dad, I would come home and he would make me practice. And I remember one time specifically, he made me practice this long practice after school. And I think I was having trouble with some music that he wanted me to learn. And he made me play it over and over. And I was like, I don't even know why you're being this way. It's not like I'm going to do this for a profession. And then it just kind of came back around all these years later. So the quick answer is no, I did not know that I wanted to be a singer. In fact, I have a terrible case of stage fright, and it's gotten a lot better. You guys don't know that I have it. I still have it a little bit. But at that time, you could not pay me to sing in front of people. So only my mom and my dad and, like family members knew that I could sing. I sang in church, never did solos or anything like that. But my mom did make me sing in the kids' choir.
It's so funny that you say that you didn't know you were going to be a singer and I'm laughing inside because I'm like, I remember when I first noticed and I found that you were a singer, I was like, wait a minute. This sister can sing. She's been hiding this from us all this time. Yeah. I mean, honestly, and I mean, it's not like your voice is, like, oh, she's all right, but like, no, like this woman is amazing. And I've never felt out like any type of tune throughout our entire matriculation of Spelman.
Thank you.
So like to find out that you were performing was like mind blowing. So talk to us about that journey and how you finally came into your own to decide that, maybe a career in economics or whatever you were thinking you were going to be, it turned into you being this amazing performer.
First of all, thank you for all of that. I totally appreciate it. I sing from my heart, so I think that's what people feel and even hear whenever they do hear me perform. But the journey, it's been interesting. It's had ups and downs, of course, but mostly ups. Honestly, I have embraced most parts of this journey, really all of it, even the parts that was like, gosh, how am I going to get through this? There were times where I was like, honestly, I got a college degree. What am I doing? And when I first started, I don't want to say that it was a conscious decision to begin a music career. It was not, I feel so grateful because everything in my life has kind of just divinely ordered itself to what it was supposed to bring me to my purpose. And I believe that I am on my path of purpose. But it started off, I think right before I began performing, I had traded stocks for Charles Schwab. I was a stockbroker for a while. Yes, I was. And then right before I stopped, I was a bank auditor. And so I audited banks, and I audited for this private company that I had about 17 banks in my territory. And I would go to these banks and I would audit, and, you know, nobody likes the auditor, you know. And so I remember a bank president, a white man, and I had to have these conversations with these presidents of a bank. And here I am, 20-something years old. Last thing they want to hear is me telling them what they're doing wrong. And so I went to the office, and he goes, "Can you close the door? And I want to talk to you off record." I was like, "Oh, Lord, this man is about to hit on me. This is going to be all bad, because I'm going to say something. I'm going to speak up." And so the first thing he said, "Why are you doing this?" And I said, "What do you mean? I'm just doing my job. It's not going to be that bad." You know, I'm thinking that he's thinking that I was about to rip his bank apart. And he said, "No, I feel like God has something else for you. This is not for you." And I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "An auditor? He got too much personality for that." And that, I don't even remember that man's name, but I remember that conversation, and I never forgot it. And then just so happened, my dad was having a fundraiser for his nonprofit, and he said, "Could you just sing one song, baby, just one song?" I said, "No, Daddy, you know I don't sing in front of people. No, just no, leave me alone about it." And my dad does not take no for an answer. And finally, I really did it to shut him up so he would leave me alone. And I sang for the first time, and even though I had the jitters and it was terrible, I said, "You know what, that wasn't so bad." And then he would ask me to come and sing a song on his gigs. And so I would go after work, and I would sing the one song I knew. And then people started asking, "Are you bringing your daughter? Are you bringing your daughter?" And he said, "Wait a minute, this is my show." And so it just kind of snowballed. So my journey really started as a father-daughter act. It was my dad and I, and we would do the daddy-daughter duo. He was performing a lot at that time. And then eventually he just said, "You know what, I gotta let you go. You're just doing some other stuff right now." So eventually we started billing the show as Nayo Jones, and then it became the Nayo Jones Experience, because while I'm on stage, yes, I want you to hear good music and enjoy the show, but I want you to feel like you had a complete experience, whatever that experience is. You know, some people say I made them sad with a song. Some people will say, you know, but I want you to be totally immersed in what I'm going through on stage. And it's a whole thing on stage. I mean, I start off sometimes I'm tired, but then, honey, by the end of it, we're going to be rocking, you know. So I just want people to experience the whole thing, because that's the beauty of music. It's an experience. It's not just notes, you know. And so that's really how this whole thing kind of, it really just spiraled out of control. And here I am, and I love it. I would never go back to corporate America. I did well. But even now, in this time here with no work, I know for a fact I made the right choice. And I'm so grateful that I had an opportunity to follow not just my passion, but follow what I believe God has me here to do. And a lot of people don't get to do that. And so for that, I am extremely grateful.
Well, I'm grateful that you are pursuing your passion. And I have to tell everybody, it is truly the Nayo Jones Experience. So every time I travel to New Orleans, I get excited to know that she has a performance, and I come with friends in tow, and we hit that carousel.
Yes, you do.
Hotel, and it's truly an experience, and we can all relate, because everybody can remember what they were doing when a song came out, or how that song made them feel. And so kudos to you for pursuing your passion. That says a lot about you not even aspiring to be a singer, but your steps were ordered, Nayo. You just couldn't resist it.
Amen.
Pursue it for a stranger to see something in you and say something and be compelled to say something says a lot, you know, about the confidence that you have. And I know Spelman women have a special type of confidence. So I want to take you back to your time at Spelman between 1994 and 1998.
You're telling my age. You're telling my age. Go ahead.
And you don't look it, and that says a lot about the love for what you do, because, you know, none of us look our age.
Yes,
I just
amen.
want to ask you, when you think of all the good times you had at Spelman, what is one moment that you can share with us that really stands out about your best experience at Spelman?
Oh my God, so many. So on the party side, honey, spring break in Jamaica, I just had myself a blast. I party myself. We still talk about that, and a song will come on, and we still. And, I mean, it's like, wait a minute, it'll take us right back to that. But my favorite experience, to be honest, it was a scary experience too. But my favorite, and I think the one that I learned the most from, once I did declare my major, we had Dr. Scott, and everybody said, don't take her. Well, no matter what, do not take her. So I avoided her as long as I could. But you're an econ major, you cannot avoid the chair for too long. So I finally took her, and I took her for my thesis. And everybody's like, you are nuts. You're a senior. You're gonna be here another year. And I was like, nope. And sure enough, I thought I was doing well in the class, but I took that first pop quiz that she used to love to bring out. And child, I think I got like a D or something. I didn't even know what that looked like, but it was red marks all over my paper. And she didn't even give me a chance to reach out to her. Before I knew it, she had left me a message. Back then, I don't know what the teachers do now, but back then they would actually call and say, listen, you know. And so she called me. She said, I need you in my office. She didn't ask what my schedule was, my availability. I need you in my office at such and such time. Do not be late. And if you think I was late, so I showed up, and we sit in the office, and she had a very intimidating spirit about her. But she leans back and she slides the test to me. She says, what is this? I said, you know, Dr. Scott, I don't know. Maybe I just had a bad day. You know, she said, you're not allowed to have those. And I was like, what do you mean? You know, she said, you got to say something if you're struggling. No, I wasn't struggling. She said, this test is not acceptable. You are a Spelman woman. You are amongst the cream of the crop, and you will conduct yourself as such. And I'm telling you, my heart was beating out of my chest. But when she said that, I said, okay, challenge accepted. And I ended up getting, I think, like an A- in that class. And then she ended up giving me recommendation letters for jobs, you know, for headhunters and stuff at that time. But I mean, that woman, I remember talking to her on the phone at home one time. And I had to write a paper, and she wasn't able to come to campus. So she had me call her at home to read her the paper. So that was my favorite, and I think most rewarding experience at Spelman.
Wow, that's awesome, because you know what? I know as a Spelman student myself at one point in time, you know, having that connection with your professors is amazing. And people don't realize that HBCUs, most HBCUs, is a very intimate experience that you have, but to actually talk to your professor while she's at home, for her, all you get into her office, no matter what, you stand up and you do what you need to do, and you took charge. Now, I know there are people in the community that probably think and say the same thing about you. Have you had an opportunity to work with and or mentor folks in your community or in school where, you know, you've been able to kind of put them on the right track?
To put them on the right track?
Yeah.
Oh gosh. I don't know if I've gotten any results, but I certainly am here to encourage, and I certainly have put myself in a position to let anyone, especially who are around young women, young Black women, if I'm here to inspire. You know, I had a young lady come to one of my shows one time, and I did not realize that people really even knew who I was. But she said, I keep hearing your name, and people say, that's who you need to follow. And I was more like flattered by that, but she asked me, could she sit in with me? And I said, of course, absolutely. You know, I had never heard this girl sing or anything like that, but I'm always inspired by other performers anyway. So I'm like, yeah, sing, come on, you know. But she asked me, she said, well, I'm gonna sing a song, but will you critique me? I said, I won't critique you, but I will give you any tips if you want any tips. And after the fact, you know, we sat for another hour. And, you know, she just kept looking at me like, oh my God, I can't believe you're sitting here talking to me. And I'm like, yes, anytime, reach out. And so, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Any aspiring singers, you know, first thing I'm going to tell you is that this journey is not for the faint of hearts. And that if you do it because you love it, which is what my dad taught me. Do it because you love it, and the money will follow. And so I never thought that I would be able to make a living doing what I do. But again, it just, if I can inspire just one person, then I think that I'm okay. That's the point.
Well, you inspire more than one person. You inspire me. So, hey, 1 plus whoever that other person.
Well, y'all inspire me. So here we go, going back and forth. Every time I see y'all, I'm like, look, that's my sis. That's my sis. So, yeah.
And, you know, I'm just so impressed at hearing your story because you have just a natural talent, you know, and that says a lot about you, that you were basically out here selling stocks, and to go from stocks to singing, it's not what I would have expected you to say. And just goes to show that, you know, like you said, when you pursue your passion, the rest is history. But I do want to tell you, Nayo, I tell everybody this, if I could sing, I wouldn't even talk. You know, I just walk around singing hello and whatever. You wouldn't even, we'd be singing this whole interview. Okay, that's the
so many people say that. Even if I start dating somebody, they're like, so is this part of the pack? No, I don't just walk around singing. No, my guy now is like, he's like, honey, can you sing something? No, not right now.
Yeah. I always say I would be like Patty, you know, I would just be so like extra with it. You know what I'm saying? But you're an amazing performer, so people got to check you out.
Well, honey, she gets extra too. Sometimes I look at video of myself like, really, you had to do all of that? So, you know, you just get lost in the moment and you enjoy it. And, you know, I love connecting with my band also. I'm so blessed to have an incredible band. They inspire me and they, you know, encourage me to really just be the best musician I can be when I'm on stage. But I've had, you asked me, did I inspire anyone? I've been able to work with people who inspire me, really. And I like to draw from that. And I think y'all talked to our sister, Miss Tia Fuller, honey. She is the bomb. And I know that y'all know that. And so I got an opportunity. We had been seeing each other. I saw her on campus, of course. We were friendly on campus, but I really saw her, it was maybe a couple years ago. We both played at the same festival. And she was playing the day before me. And so I got in that day and I got to see her show for the first time. And I was just like, this girl is, yes, you know. And then most recently in January, she did a conference in New Orleans, a jazz conference. And I happened to be singing on that program. And so we had a chance to connect backstage and just really just be sisters for a while. You know, our paths keep crossing musically, but it was really nice to just sit and talk with one another. So, and seeing her on stage, it's just, it's incredible. It's inspiring to be able to see a woman that I actually can say, hey, yeah, that's my peer. And here we are out here doing big things. And I love to see how amazing she is and how much she's grown in her career too. So that's inspiring to me.
Well, hey, we have to have that collaboration and make it happen.
You're in my head, get out of my head.
That would be amazing. And like you said, you perform with a lot of amazing people. Can you tell us some of the people you perform with?
Oh, wow. I've had a chance to be on stage. I sang with Robert Glasper. I sang with, I opened up for Lettucey. Lettucey sang with the New Orleans Jazz Orchestra, which is an orchestra that I've been working with for about 2 years now. And the music director asked me to sing, and I said, and who's on the bill? He said, Lettucey. I said, oh, no, sir, I will be sitting in the audience taking notes. And he said, no, you will be singing. So I got to sing, and Lettucey was such a warm spirit, which was a blessing to actually experience that. She was really a warm spirit. I got to sing with Eric Benet. So y'all know that took me back. Yeah, that was incredible. Gosh, I've had so many really cool experiences that I should probably be more diligent about writing them down sometimes. But yeah, I've been able to be on stage with some really, really awesome people and just be in the presence with awesome musicians too. Like I said, I'm so fortunate to have musicians around me that are, you know, honestly way above my head, but we play together and we connect together. And so any musician that I get to share a stage with, honestly, I'm blessed and honored to do it. Kermit Ruffins, I know y'all know, that's how I ended up in New Orleans.
Yeah.
He really was like my little New Orleans angel. As soon as I got there, he heard me. He was like, wait a minute, where are you from? And so before I knew it, I was going on tour with them.
So I have a two-part question for you.
Okay.
Yeah. So when I hear your voice, I hear such a soulful, neo soul, like a Jill Scott. You just give me that feel, like oof. But if you had to describe the genre of music that you sing, what would that be? And then also, you said you haven't quite gotten over the stage fright. Talk to us about how you get through it and how you do such an amazing job on stage despite the stage fright.
Let's see. So I'll hit the stage fright first. The stage fright happens. I think it's something that I learned to embrace when it happens. And so you don't let it overcome you. I think all musicians or all artists, even you guys, whenever you have to present something, I'm sure you get some jitters and stuff like that. But I stopped worrying about what if I mess up. Just have fun. These people are here to watch you do what you do, to hear you do what you do. And most of them can't do it anyway. So, I just go out there and I have fun, and that's how I get over it. And it's funny, you were saying that if you could sing, you would just sing all the time. Talking to people makes me nervous. It makes me even more nervous than singing sometimes. And so I remember when I first started, my dad would say, you got to talk to people. You can't just stand there. And I would say, no, Dad, I'm not talking, And so now, the way that I kind of get control of the situation, before I sing one note, I say, how y'all doing? This is my secret. I'm telling y'all my secret. How y'all doing? And that's my way of taking control of the situation. And it usually grabs their attention. And if they don't answer me, I say, y'all better talk back to me. And so now I'm in control versus now you have all these people, sometimes thousands of people staring at you, waiting for you to perform, really. And then what was the other question you asked me?
The style or genre of music you would classify?
That's a hard question for me. It always has been. People connect me to jazz because I do a lot of jazz standards. When I first started, that's really all I did with my dad. So people connect me with jazz because I can sing jazz. And that was intentional. My dad said, if you learn how to sing jazz, you can sing anything. But the soul that you hear is really just me singing from my heart. I sing what I hear. I sing what I feel in that moment. Sometimes it's not musically right. I don't know. But that's what you hear in terms of the soul. It's my soul. I am, you're vulnerable when you're on stage. And I have learned to like that part of it. That I'm letting people, you're seeing straight through me a lot of times. A lot of times when there was a song that I used to sing all the time, and I had to stop singing it. And I'm not going to tell y'all the story because it'll make me cry, but I had to stop singing it because it would take me to a place that I could not control the tears, And I'm finally getting back to a place now where I can sing that song again. So the reason why the tears will come, though, is because I allow myself to be naturally me, and to be vulnerable, because otherwise you can't experience Nayo if I don't allow you in. So that's how I get over it, and that is how I would describe my genre is just music, really, because I like musical theater too. I've had people ask me about Broadway. I'd love to do Broadway. I'm just not trained for Broadway. Those vocalists are incredibly trained. Although one year I did go down to New York, or go up to New York to audition for the part of Dorothy. I knew I was not going to get that part, but the experience was incredible. It was like 7 a.m. and you see all these Dorothys, singing in the rafters. And I was like, what is going on? I got to warm up, And so I did the audition, and it was just really a great experience. And so, I love music. I love music. I love lyrics, and I love music that will move people. And so I guess my heart is with jazz and soul and R&B, all the music that I grew up hearing my parents playing and my dad literally playing. So yeah, people would connect me with jazz, but I just know how to sing jazz. I don't know that I'm a jazz singer.
Well, you're definitely a talented artist, and your voice is so unique. And music has taken you all around the world, but you call New Orleans, Louisiana home. And
Yes.
so you mentioned Kermit Ruffins was your Louisiana angel. I want to hear more about that. So how did you end up in New Orleans, and tell us exactly what he did to get this show that you have, and tell us more about what you're doing in New Orleans.
So before I went to New Orleans, I had a supper club, a jazz supper club, with my dad here in Phoenix. And when we closed it, he said, you know, I'm gonna go down and see where they playing live music still, because live music is a genre or is an art form that is not as supported as we would like it to be anymore. You know, we're competing with DJs now, although I think it's coming back around, and I knew that it would. Because you just cannot recreate. You can put out all these incredible CDs, but you cannot recreate a live show. You just can't. That's something that, you know, you guys, I'm sure, have gone to concerts and you remember, like you said, you remember that moment when you heard a song, or you remember that moment. You know, people still talk about moments where they saw Prince do this, or, whoever your artist is. And so my dad went down to New Orleans first, and he said, they're still playing music in New Orleans. And so he's like, you got to check it out. And at that time, I wanted to record a CD. So I went down there to speak with and meet with a producer that I thought would produce my next project. And when I got to the studio, I said, this is not what he presented his art to be. This is not me. I cannot sing this music. I cannot, in good faith, sing this music. And he said, oh, this is going to be a hit, though. It might be, sir, but not for me, you know. And so I ended up thinking, gosh, I'm on a one-way ticket. This was supposed to be an 8-week trip to, 8 weeks I was going to stay to complete the project, because I was going to stay in the studio and just get it done. And my best friend, another Spelmanite, she had just moved to New Orleans. So she's like, just stay with me. We'll learn the city together. Neither one of us knew anything about New Orleans. And so I think about the third or fourth day, I had heard Kermit's name so many times that I said, okay, who is this guy? You know, and so I Googled him, and I was like, oh, shoot, I better go down and hear his show. So I went to his show. I had missed the show. Actually, I got there really late and I had missed the show, but I still went up to speak to him. Very, very nice guy. And he said, well, the show is over, but what do you sing? And I said, oh, I sing jazz. You don't look like it. And I said, well, give me a shot. And I think he was most impressed because I got real sassy with him. So he said, well, come on back. And I came back the next night, and I think I choked that night. I don't know what happened. It was definitely not my A game. I have no idea what happened. But apparently he Googled me. And so he gave me a call, and he said, come on down, I want to meet with you because you the real deal. And so he was like, yeah, I was looking at your website and I saw some videos online, and you've done some stuff I haven't done. And so he said, I'm gonna put you to work. You know, he asked me how long I was gonna be in town. I said, oh, just, a few more weeks. And he said, oh, I'm gonna put you to work. And 2 weeks later, I got a call from HBO. And they said, Mr. Ruffins wants you in New York with him in a couple of weeks. And I was like, sure, yeah. And so they sent me a ticket. He was still at that time shooting the show Trumpeter. And they were having some kind of cast party or something like that. And he asked me to come. And, from there, it's just, the rest is history. I got to be on a lot of major stages because he was generous enough to share his stage with me. Festivals, and he really introduced me to the city of New Orleans. And so from there, I kept kind of letting people know I'm not just the girl that sings for Kermit Ruffins. Give me a shot, And so eventually I did get my own show, and I put a band together, and here I am 8 years later. I wasn't supposed to be there this long, but here I am. And I love it. New Orleans has been really, really good to me.
And Nayo, you are the real deal. I've had an opportunity to see you on stage and have the Nayo experience. And I'm not just saying that because you're my Spelman sister. I think you're amazing. And boy, do I wish I knew you could sing back in school. I would have probably held you to it. But for those who want to find you on social media, check you out on your website, and even download your music, where do we need to go to find you?
Okay, so nayojones.com is my website, but apparently I'm on Spotify. I find out a lot of things about myself because somebody will text me and say, girl, I just saw you on Spotify, or I saw you on this, that, or the other. So anyway, you can download me on iTunes also. Nayo Jones Music on Twitter, although I don't tweet that much, but Facebook, Nayo Jones. I'm Nayo Jones on Instagram. I've been kind of quiet since the pandemic, so there's not a whole lot of videos and things. I did go live a few times, which was a lot of fun and a good release artistically, because when you got all that built up, you gotta get it out. So that was fun. And then just kind of stay tuned, because I'm really excited about finally putting out a project that I believe will embody who I am today, the woman that I've grown to be, and hopefully will continue to evolve into. So, yeah.
Well, Nayo, thank you so much for sharing your story with us. It's such an incredible story to go from economics to an amazing singer, to have graced the stage all around the world with your beautiful voice. We want to thank you for sharing your voice with us today and telling us about your HBCU journey, and we will be following you and rooting for you. And for more amazing interviews like this, everyone check out hbcuhighlights.com, and thank you for tuning in.